Welcome to Networks Professionals.
Have you ever stopped and wondered how the internet actually works? Like, really works. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and unlock the command line that powers so much of it all. We're talking about the language that tells network gear exactly what to do. I mean, think about it. You plug in a router, you connect to the Wi-Fi, and it just works. But how? What's the secret sauce? What's the intelligence inside that little box that's sending your data, your videos, your messages all across the globe? Well, I can tell you it is definitely not magic. It's actually a super sophisticated operating system called Cisco IOS. And in this explainer, you're going to learn the fundamental language to speak directly to the network. How cool is that? So let's start right at the beginning. What exactly is this system that, basically runs our connected world? Okay, so here's the official breakdown. Cisco IOS stands for Internetwork Operating System. It's the special software that Cisco puts inside millions of their routers and switches. And the most important part for us, it gives us something called the Command Line Interface, or CLI, which is how we as network engineers can configure and manage everything. And honestly, this is the absolute best way to think about it. If the router is the body, with all its physical ports and lights, then the iOS is the brain. It's where all the thinking, all the routing, and all the decision-making happens. All right, so if we're going to talk to this brain, we need to get one thing straight. We can't just say whatever we want, whenever we want. We need the right permissions first. And that brings us to what we call access modes. The best analogy for this is to think of security clearances, like in the movies. At the lowest level, you can maybe walk around the lobby and look at things, but you definitely can't touch anything important. But at the highest level, well, you have the keys to the entire kingdom. iOS works the exact same way. Now, check this out, because this is where it gets really practical. You can tell your clearance level just by looking at the little symbol in the command prompt. See that greater than sign? That means you're in user exec mode. You're basically a visitor. But when you see the pound sign or hash, now you're in privileged exec mode. You can see everything. The real power, though, starts at global configuration with that config hash prompt. That's where you can actually start changing things. So for anyone just starting out, this right here is the most crucial distinction you need to burn into your brain. Privileged exec with that pound sign is your look but don't touch mode. It's for checking things and troubleshooting. Global config, on the other hand, that's the workshop. That's where you roll up your sleeves and actually build the network. Okay, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and actually put this knowledge to work. It is time to take control of a device with your very first configuration. Let's do it. All right, first things first, always, security. We start by giving our router a unique name so we know what we're working on. Then, and this is super important, we set an enable secret password. That's the key to get into that powerful privileged mode we just talked about. And finally, we lock down access for anyone physically plugging in and for anyone trying to get in remotely over the network. This is your basic security checklist right here. Okay, now that it's secure, let's get it talking to the network. First, we pick a specific port or interface. Then we give it an IP address, which is its unique mailing address on the network. But here's the catch, and this gets everyone at first. By default, all the ports are turned off. The no shutdown command is like flipping the power switch on for that port. Without it, absolutely nothing happens. So you've done all this awesome work. You've secured it, you've configured it, but right now, all of it is temporary. It only exists in the router's active memory. If that router loses power or reboots, poof, it's all gone. This is actually a safety feature. It lets you test things without breaking the old setup. But once you know your changes are good, you must make them permanent with this one critical command. This command is easily the most important one you'll learn today. It saves your work. So that save command brings up a really good question. What exactly are we saving from, and where is it being saved to? To understand that, we need to take a little peek inside the router's mind. See, a Cisco device has 4 different types of memory, and each one has a very specific job. You've got RAM, NVRAM, flash, and ROM. Just think of them as different parts of the router's brain. Each one is responsible for a different kind of remembering, from quick, short-term tasks to its very core identity. Let's see how they all work together. And this table just nails it. The configuration you were just editing, the running config, that lives in RAM. It's like your short-term memory, super fast but totally volatile. When you run that save command, You're copying it to NVRAM, which is like its long-term memory. It survives a reboot. Meanwhile, the actual operating system, the iOS software, is stored in flash memory, kind of like your learned knowledge and skills. And ROM, that just holds the basic instincts, the instructions for how to wake up in the first place. Wow, okay, we've covered a lot of ground in a really short amount of time. So let's just take a breath and quickly recap the foundational toolkit that you've just built for yourself. So let's look at your new toolkit. You now know that iOS is the operating system, the brain of the network. You know that access modes are your different levels of power. You've learned basic commands to secure a device and get it online. And most importantly, you understand the absolutely critical need to save your configuration. And you know about the 4 types of memory that make it all possible. You've officially taken your first step. You've learned the basic grammar of the network's native language. So the only real question left is, what are you going to command it to do next? What will you build?
Thanks for watching.